What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Flying V Outdoors. Today I'm going to show you how to take your kayak from this to this. All right, so as you guys can see, kayak is finished painting. I just got everything put back together on it. Everything is looking great. Paint turned out really nice on this thing, actually. That clear coat should hold up pretty good. There's a couple spots where I can tell I didn't put enough clear coat on it. The inside, like I said, I'm not too worried about it. I already figured it's gonna get a lot of wear and tear through the season anyway, and you're gonna have my body and a bunch of gear in there, so you're not even gonna see the inside of it, honestly. Today, we're gonna be talking about how you guys can put a trolling motor on your H12 or your other kayak. It's pretty universal. You could do it however you wanted to. This is just how I did it, so let's jump right in. On there is you're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna mount it. What I did, I used a Harbor Freight winch plate, okay? Straight from Harbor Freight. You can get this in store and online, and it costs a whopping $5. All I did, I used the pre-drilled holes in it, and I mounted it back here on the H12. 4 bolts, that's all I used. I drilled the holes in it myself. There's some foam back here you're gonna have to pull out of this. I just used a hacksaw, went in, cut the glue out, pulled it out, drilled my holes, and I used 4 bolts for it, just to lock it down tight, and it is sturdy, okay? Next thing we did, just get you a 2x4 and cut it, leave a little bit hanging off the ends right here, and that's all you gotta do with that. I went ahead and painted it, and I ran a bolt through each side and mounted it up to that winch plate. So what you're gonna wanna figure out next is how you're gonna control your motor. Some people will get a long extension handle for the little tiller on it, and they'll hand control it next to them. I chose to go the foot controlled route. There's a couple other people out there that have done some crazy stuff with it. Foot controls was super easy to rig up, doesn't cost anything more, and it just makes everything a lot more convenient. I like to do a lot of fishing out of this when it's not too hot outside, so I'll use my foot controls so I'm hands-free. You're gonna have to pick a trolling motor that works for you. I chose the Minn Kota C2 30. Super cheap, 100 bucks on Amazon here in 2 days. Works great. 30 pounds is plenty to push the kayak around. Kayak only weighs 70 pounds, and I cruise along with this thing about 6 miles an hour at high speed. Easy day, get up to speed without a problem. The thing's not struggling at all. First thing you'll have to do with your trolling motor is take the head off of it. If you're wanting to run foot controls, there's just a few screws in the bottom of this thing, and the head will pop right off. And there's a switch inside, which we'll get to later. Second thing you're going to do is put a new head on this bad boy. All I used was some PVC pipe. I'll link the actual pieces of PVC that I used in the description below. I'll put my whole parts list down there so you guys can check it out, okay? But all I did was use a little T-post, put a cap on it, ran my wires up through it and out, okay? Then I put the side posts and ran my little eyes on the outside to hook my controls to so we could control it by foot. The wires are just going to run out of the head. I put a little cover on them, and I used a 5-pin trailer plug, like a trailer wiring harness. You don't have to do that. That's just what I used. Really, you only need a 4-pin because you're only going to run 4 wires, just like that. You're going to run these 4 wires and tie them all together, and that way, if you ever want to pull your trolling motor off, all you got to do is just unclip your foot cables, unplug the pin, and it pops right off out of the way, and you can just paddle your little heart out. It's easier to transport it with the motor off. I like to just pop the motor off and toss it back here in the bay. Once you have your motor mount on, you have your motor mounted to your kayak, you have your head set up, you're going to want to run your foot cables. I use some steel wire. I'll leave the link in the description. I bought it off Amazon. I think it was like 10 bucks at the most, and it came with about 40 feet of it. And you're just gonna run those cables, make your loops. And I chose to use Carabiners. You could use whatever you wanted. And they're gonna clip on, and you're just gonna run your wire all the way down. And for these ascents, right here in these foot pegs, the pin pops out so they'll move freely. I just ran my wire straight through where that pin went, made a loop on the back so it catches, and that's exactly how I control my trolling motor. And it's that easy. Make sure they're even, make sure the wires are tight, and make sure your trolling motor's straight. And once it's all set up, you literally, all you gotta do to turn, push your left pedal, you go left, right pedal, you go right. So what I did with my switch, guys, I ran it all the way up here, and I mounted it right here on the little side piece where the seat bracket is, okay? I took an outdoor electrical box that's like sealed watertight, drilled a hole in it, and I shoved that switch straight through there. I'll drop some pictures in here as well so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And then I just ran the wires out of it, off the plug, into that 4-pin switch. So now all I have to do to turn on my trolling motor, literally, is just flip this switch. And I've got my 5 forward, 3 reverse. Overall, it works great. I just got a little switch off of Amazon. Again, another $5, but you just put that on the switch right here. And that's how you control your motor, okay? It's literally that simple, and you could probably do it in about an hour or so if you just get the parts that I'm gonna show you guys and just follow along with what I said, okay? Check your state laws if you're gonna motorize your kayak. Most states require that if you put a motor on it, whether it be electric or gas, that it has to be registered with the state. You have to put numbers. One more thing I added on here is I just tied a piece of paracord right here, put a carabiner on it, and that is just for me to hold this kayak or this motor up if I'm ever in really shallow water or if I'm pulling up to get out, and then my motor will just stay up just like that, and I will just clip my carabiner on right here just in case it were to fall backwards. And then all I have to do to redeploy it is just reach back here and give it a little push, and then it'll just drop straight back down into the water, okay? Last thing I'm gonna talk about real quick, and I'm gonna be really fast about it because there's so many opinions on it, so you're gonna have to do your own research to find out what you want, is batteries. I'm using a 35 amp hour battery. I bought it off Amazon. It was on sale for $30. Regular, I think they're 55. It weighs 17 pounds. So it's super lightweight. It's very small. I just threw in that battery box I bought from Academy for $5, and it's done me good. I've had it out for 3 or 4 hours of constant use before it started getting low. Which is a lot of battery life. I don't need anything more than that, and I'd rather be traveling light than having a 150-pound big old deep cycle battery in the kayak. Like I said, 17 pounds, super light and small, doesn't take up too much space, and it's gonna get me where I wanna go. Anywhere we're gonna take these kayaks during duck season isn't gonna be more than a 20-minute commute with a trolling motor on high speed. So it's more than enough battery to get us there and get us back. So completely happy with that, and that's the route that I chose. Like I said, there's a million batteries out there, and you can spend almost $1,000 on them, or you can be cheap, light, and efficient, and that's what I went with. So that about wraps it up, guys. If you have any more questions or you want me to go more in depth on something, feel free, just drop a comment. If you follow us on Instagram or on Facebook, you can just send me a message. I'd be more than happy to give you guys a little bit more information on it, how I did it, and clear up any confusion that you guys had. But all in all, you can get a whole trolling motor setup on your kayak. If you buy everything brand new, it's gonna be under $200. If you enjoyed the video, give us a big old like, hit that subscribe button so you'll get notified when I post another video, because we're gonna have plenty of stuff coming out here soon about these kayaks, okay? We're gonna go through our whole blind setup using that Northern Flight blind. We're gonna talk about brushing that blind, how we like to use them. We're gonna talk about how many decoys I can fit in this thing, all the different gear I put in here. We're gonna take you on test runs in it and just show you everything these things are capable of and how much more awesome they can make your hunting experience. All right, so like I said, just hit that subscribe button, stay tuned, and thanks for tuning in, guys.